everybody. This is the Y Guy. We're in Grand Rapids, Michigan on a beautiful day with
Nick Koogler.
Nick Koogler. How's your day going today?
It's going great, man. It's a beautiful day. Feels really good in the shade right now.
Yes, it does.
You know, to be out in the sun is brutal, but I love the sun.
Yeah.
After a harsh Michigan winter, there's nothing better.
Yeah. What got you down in the park today?
Honestly, just to connect with God.
Okay.
You know, I needed to come through and just kind of walk and kind of find step with the unity of God. And,
awesome.
Yep.
Awesome. Working for you? Doing good?
Absolutely. I've just kind of walking through, seeing the beauty of the parks that are here.
Oh yeah.
I always love being around water. So just walking the Grand is nice, and just feeling the breeze and seeing, honestly, just the image of God in people.
Yeah.
Has been kind of why I'm here.
Yeah.
And it's been very fruitful.
That's awesome. Are you from Grand Rapids?
Local area. I'm outskirts of Grand Rapids, so I'm currently residing in Lowell, which is about 20 minutes away.
Okay, cool. What keeps you around this area?
Well, today I actually was kind of running some errands. My wife had a wedding ring repair that needed to be done, so I came down to check on that and just kind of do some other things. And I used it as an opportunity to kind of walk the park.
Gotcha. How do you earn a living?
I actually work in a ministry.
Oh, wow.
So I work with churches to help them to establish men's discipleship in their church. So I help them to either establish or strategize, depending on where they're at. The organization's called Man in the Mirror.
Man in the Mirror.
Yep.
Okay, I'll remember that.
Yeah.
Why'd you choose to get into that?
It really wasn't as much of a choice as it was a calling. A lot of things lined up in my life. I had a lot of men in my life that were encouraging me to enter into ministry, and I was going through a lot of changes, trying to figure out what that was like. So one challenge led to another challenge, led to another challenge, which led to an opportunity, which led to another opportunity, and those opportunities kind of just lined up with this particular ministry. And one of the guys that I was talking to worked in the ministry, and he said, you know what, you should really check out Man in the Mirror, this organization that I work for. And so I did. I went on their website, kind of tracked the discipleship path that they were offering, and I went, you know what, this lines up with me. This lines up with where I really feel like God's calling me. So I started to take one step in front of the other and follow that journey, and voila.
That's awesome.
Here I am.
I'm glad to hear it. Probably took a lot of courage to follow that walk. A lot of help from other people, but
absolutely.
My next question would be do you believe that the ups and downs of your story could make an impact on somebody else's life? I
do. Not only do I believe that it can, I believe it kind of has to. I think in order for my story to have, and it's not an extraordinary story, it's a pretty extraordinary story, but in order for that story to have the kind of power that it needs to, I need to tell it. And that includes some of the highlights of my life, and that also includes some of the lowlights of my life. And going through divorce, was a major impact, but it led me into some conversations with people that were dealing with some similar struggles, and helping to share. I think when we begin to bear one another's burdens, when we begin to share one another's burdens, it makes that bearing easier. Yeah. And my struggles can often make somebody else's struggles lighter, and vice versa. And that happened in my life, so I try to offer that whenever I can. And try to be the same thing for others. Man, I really think a lot of people that are listening to this will be able to take a lot of fruit out of what you just said there. So thank you so much for that. You're welcome. And my next question is, have you ever struggled in your life? Obviously, you've already heard some of that. And, so preceding your question, but yes, I have.
Okay, and my following that up is, what would be one struggle that you've been through that you'd be willing to talk about?
Wow. I guess my biggest struggle, that's coming to me right now, is my divorce. Not only the actual divorce, but the strain and the pressure and the questions and the questioning that kind of came before the divorce. Trying to save a marriage, and then ending up not successful. you know, and
Yeah.
I believed in God, and I believed in his journey and his role in my life throughout all of it, you know, but wrestling with knowing that you did what you can, or at least hoping that you did what you can, and still ending up with a failed marriage, you know, and how does that impact you? And, you know, I begin to question my worth, and I begin to question my calling, and I begin to question, like, the reasons why God made me the way he made me, because of a failure, because of a reality in my past. Because there was a failure, I began to think of myself as a failure.
Okay, yeah.
You know, instead of seeing myself who I truly am, and that failure isn't who I am, it's just something that exists in my past. So, and helping other guys that are struggling through similar things, and maybe wrestling with issues in their life, and feeling like their failure is beginning to define them, you know, and helping them to see that it doesn't. You know, a struggle, no matter what the struggle, isn't the thing that defines you. It's just a part of your reality. It's a part of your history. So, yeah, that's probably one of the most painful, you know, realities, and trying to grow through that.
Wow. Well, thank you for opening up about that, because that's, I'm sure you probably had a lot of conversations about it, but I'm sure as well as every single time you talk about it, it's not the easiest thing to bring up, especially in just meeting someone. So I really appreciate it, because once again, I think if someone listens and is going through that same thing, a lot of your words will be impactful on their life. And my next question to go along with that is, how did you overcome that moment, or while you were going through it, or at the end of it, and what was your best way to say you overcame it?
I think the best way for me to answer that, good thing he's going the other way.
I know, I was like, that's going to ruin this
that
whole
mower
thing,
is going to really screw this up. But I think the best way for me to answer that is the relationships in my life. When I wasn't able to see things as true in my life, I had other people in my life that were able to help me to see the things that were true. And if it wasn't for those people, those mentors, friends, pastors, like the people that were willing to be with me and walk with me through the journey and get to know me and be with me, and not just see my situation but see me, those were the people that helped me through it, and also honestly helped me to be okay with it. Like, the reason why I'm able to have this conversation almost without breaking down into tears, and you know, like, because that was a stressful time, right, is because I've had people that helped me to realize that wasn't who I am, and it could be just part of my history, and just part of my growth opportunity for me.
Yeah.
You know, help it to refine me and not define me.
Yep. Thank you so much again.
Yeah.
My next question: do you believe that there's power in communication?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That seems to be. You just went over that. I didn't even have to ask, but I think it's one of my favorite questions to ask. So.
Yeah, there is. There's power in knowing somebody's story. There's power in knowing your own story. Power in being able to articulate your story. You know, helping to know what parts of your story might really touch somebody. And until you're willing to be open and communicate, then you don't know where your stories do match, and you don't know where your stories do collide. And you know, and where that collision happens, power is potential. You know, and until you're able to open up and communicate, until you're open up and, you know, share that either through story or through song or through meeting somebody on a random path someday and being, hey, do you want to talk? You know, it absolutely is important.
Yeah. Thank you for me meeting you on a random path and being willing to talk today, because you've helped me out a ton through our conversation. I mean, on camera, for the people that are viewing, and off camera. And my last question with you is, do you believe in the world we live in today, a message like unity could be a transformative message for our culture, or just environment or community?
Yeah, I do. I very much do. And I think more so than, I mean, obviously, you know, I'm a Christian by the way that I'm, you know, the parts of my story that I'm talking about, but unity is so much deeper than just the unity in Christ, that when we begin to see our unity as humanity, that we all bear the image of God, and that we, no matter where we're at, no matter what our story is, that there is a binding thread in all of our lives and all of our stories. And, you know, so to find unity doesn't mean to be stuck in uniformity. Like, we don't all have to believe the same ways and see things the same way. To have a unified story and a unified calling, and to find, and when you find those unique threads and when you find those things through communication,
Yeah.
like the power of relationship begins to like really take hold, you know. I think anyways.
That message right there was probably the biggest one, I think, for everybody to hear is we all got our special gifts, right? And we all have everything going on in our own personal lives, but to be able to work and communicate together. So thank you so much for that. And that's all I got for our
Awesome.
interview. So
Sure.
thank you so much. Mind if I get a hug?
Sure, not a problem.
Thank you so much, Nick. Oh, man. Thank you so much.